Hey, what's up? This is Rodney, and I'm back. And I basically just wanted to talk about this whole Stacey Dash comment that she made. She basically made a comment saying that all transgender people, if they need to use the restroom, they should just go to the bushes. Because she didn't want to put her child in danger of, I guess, being touched by a transgender person. Let me just say something really fast. The transgender community, they have been using the restroom of their choice for decades. Do you hear me? Decades. Trannies just did not pop up last year or the year before or in 2002 or 1999 or 1988. Trannies have been around for decades, and they have been using the restroom that they wanted to use for decades. And not once have you heard of a transgender person inappropriately touching a child or a woman in a restroom. Not once. I've been saying this, and then I was watching CNN a couple of weeks ago, I believe, and there was a girl on there from Caitlyn Jenner's show, Candace Kane, I believe, and she even said the same thing. There has not been one documented incident of a transgender person touching a child or a woman in a public restroom or touching or inappropriately touching a child, period. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm just saying because as big as this is right now in this country, you would think that they would have something to back them up by saying, this is why we don't want the trannies in the restroom because this happened. They can't say that because it never happened. But I can tell you what has happened. A couple of weeks ago, a little boy went to the restroom in church, and a grown-ass man followed him in church and sexually assaulted him. That's what happened. That's what happened. A 40-year-old man was in a relationship with a 14-year-old girl since she was 12 years old, got her pregnant at 14, and gave her HIV. He also raped a baby in the family who was 18 months old and gave her HIV. Now that did happen. You hear pastors molesting children every day. You hear about uncles touching nieces and nephews and sisters every day. That goddamn white family that was on TV a couple months ago, that big ass family who got like 26 kids, and one of the brothers was sleeping with like two of the sisters. What the fuck? And y'all worried about the motherfucking trannies? Let me just say something, bitch. You have been in the restroom with a tranny before, and I shouldn't say tranny, it's transgendered. You have been in the restroom with a transgender woman before. You have been in the restroom with a transgender man before. Yes, when you were sitting down and you was taking a shit in the restroom, sir, and you thought that man was beside you taking a shit, she was really taking a piss. But she ain't had no choice but to sit down. She got some toilet tissue, she wiped her puss, and she went on about her business. Ma'am, when you were in the restroom sitting down pissing, yes, that person beside you had a big ass 10-inch dick swinging between their legs, pissing right beside you. They didn't do shit to you. When you sent your daughter into the restroom at Target one time, it was a tranny in there using the restroom too. She didn't do nothing to your goddamn daughter. Your focus should not be on transgendered people. It really shouldn't. Your focus should be on who is around your child, because that's more than likely where your child will be touched and molested versus a transgender person. It's just not, I'm not going to say it's just not going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. You know, in politics, they try to use women and children. Like, you know, the women, the men, and you know, we don't want to put our women and children in danger by allowing anyone who identifies as a man as a woman to go into the restroom. The truth of the matter is, if this would have never been brought up, this would not even be a conversation. This should not even be a conversation that we should be having. If anything happens now, it's not the transgender community's fault. It's y'all's fault. It's these politicians' fault. Because now they've opened up that door where the real rapists and the real molesters can walk up and say, oh, I feel like a woman today, I'm going to go into the women's restroom. They opened up that door. Because before, that door was closed. A man knew he could not go into a woman's restroom. I'm not saying he wouldn't go, but he knew he couldn't go. Now he has an excuse. A real molester has an excuse. A real rapist has an excuse now to go into the women's restroom by saying, oh, I identify as a woman, knowing damn well you don't. That's not the transgender community's fault. And then what's going to happen is when these incidents start to happen where children are now being molested, continue because they're already being molested, girl. When they're being molested in these stores, or women are almost being raped in these stores, then they're going to turn around and say, see, that's why we said that trannies shouldn't be going to the restroom. But baby, the trannies been going to the restroom they wanted to this whole time. This is y'all's fault. This is something that should not even be up for discussion. It really shouldn't. It really shouldn't. I just think people need to get over it. At the end of the day, Stacey Dash, she's a fuck nigga. She will say and do anything clearly for a coin. It's just sad because, she sit here and she talks about how she slept with her husbands on the first date and how she was almost raped and drug abused. And I'm not saying we all don't judge because, bitch, I judge too. But I would think that someone who has been through what she's been through would be a little bit more open-minded to certain things. You know what I'm saying? I could see if she was some country bumpkin who lived in the country and just didn't know no better. But bitch, you have been around. Your cousin is Dame Dash. You have been around. So it's not like you have not seen at least half of the world or some of the world to the point where you should be a little bit more open-minded about things. But the simple fact that you still think like some nigga in the country, that's an issue for me. I'm through with Stacey Dash. Fuck that hoe.